Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's had a good Saturday. Um, we're back with Ashes of What Remains, a two-person campaign being run and DM'd by ChatGPT 5.2. I've fed it the SRD and gave it some custom instructions, and we've got ourselves a campaign started. So before we get started, why not hit the like button, subscribe so you know when we come on next. And if we ever get back to our Curse of Strahd campaign, you'll know that too. Um, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and we should be ready to go. Oh, the music. The music today is unspeakable dark ambient music, immersive Lovecraftian horror atmosphere by Alan Ariza. I do not have the copyright. I don't claim the copyright. I'm just using it for use in the game. So, with that, here is the previously on segment.
Here's a clean, punchy previously on that works as both a recap and a character introduction. Readable, atmospheric, and not up its own ass. Previously on Ashes of What Remains. The frontier town of Harrow's Reach squats at the edge of something broken. The land still bears the scars of a disaster no one fully names, only gestures at, like a bruise they don't want pressed. Trade moves cautiously. People watch strangers too long. The road in and out never quite feels empty. Into this place walk two people who did not arrive together, but who would not leave alone. Sebastian is a wood elf warlock, once bound for the quiet certainty of a cleric's life. He chose differently. Where others kneel, he bargains. Where others pray, he listens. His faith did not vanish. It sharpened, bent toward Malphas, his patron, a fiend who rewards conviction and consequences in equal measure. Sebastian wears his devotion openly and carries the unsettling calm of someone who believes the universe is transactional. Isaboe is human, quick-eyed and guarded, shaped by abandonment and survival rather than doctrine. Given away as a child in the name of mercy, she learned early that good intentions often leave bodies behind. She trusts her hands, her instincts, and very little else. Whatever softness she once had is wrapped in scars and kept well out of reach. Chance put them in the same place. Necessity kept them talking. A caravan bound for uncertain roads offered coin, danger, and answers that might be lies. They rested, they watched the town breathe around them, and when morning came, they chose motion. The road opened, and something noticed. If you want, I can tighten this down to a 30-second voiceover cut, or rough it up with more grit and less poetry for a colder recap tone.
Let's start episode 2 now.
Got it. Episode 2 begins. Morning comes to Harrow's Reach the way it always does, reluctantly. Fog still clings to the low ground like it overslept and refuses to get up. The sky is a dull, colourless grey, not stormy, not clear, just undecided. Somewhere in town, a hammer rings against metal. A cartwheel creaks. Life resumes because it has to, not because anyone's excited about it. You wake from a full night's rest, but the sense of being observed hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, it has settled in like a familiar ache you stop mentioning. The caravan is already gathering near the eastern road. Oxen snort clouds of steam into the cold air. Canvas wagons are being checked, retied, argued over. Guards stand around pretending they aren't nervous. Merchants pretend this is routine. No one jokes about bandits. No one jokes at all. Sebastian, you feel that low, distant pressure in the back of your thoughts again. Not words, not commands. Just the sense that Malphas, his patron, is aware that you're about to move. Contracts like motion, roads create leverage. Isaboe, you clock the scene automatically. Exits, sightlines, who looks bored, who looks scared, who looks like they'd run first if things went bad. You notice how often people glance toward the tree line and then quickly stop, as if they've learned not to stare. Marrow, the caravan's coordinator, spots the two of you and lifts a hand. He looks tired already, like he regrets agreeing to leave town. Glad you showed, he says. Once we roll out, there's no circling back. Road doesn't like hesitation. He gestures toward the wagons, then lowers his voice just a bit. Before we leave, anything you think I should know? The caravan waits. The road waits. Tell me what Sebastian and Isaboe do or say next.
Sorry to interrupt, but wasn't Marrow a woman last time? She was, wasn't she?
I thought so.
Okay.
Good catch, you're right. That one's on me, not the mists. Marrow is a woman. Let's correct the lens and roll forward cleanly. Marrow stands near the lead wagon, coat pulled tight against the cold. Late 30s, early 40s, hard to say. Someone who's lived outdoors long enough that the weather stopped being personal. Her hair is tied back in a practical knot, already threaded with grey. She doesn't bother hiding. Her eyes are sharp, tired, and absolutely measuring you. When she speaks, it's low and steady, the voice of someone used to being obeyed without raising it. Glad you showed, she says. Once we roll out, there's no circling back. Road doesn't like hesitation. She gestures toward the wagons, then steps a little closer, lowering her voice. Before we leave, anything you think I should know? The caravan creaks. Oxen shift. Somewhere in the fog, a bird cries and then abruptly stops. We're back on the rails. Tell me what Sebastian and Isaboe do.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't this person already understand what we understand?
We explained to him, I thought. I'll ask. Didn't we explain what we found Marrow last episode? Or did we skip that?
You did not skip it. You did explain yourselves last episode. Here's the clean continuity truth. No fog of war bullshit. At the end of episode 1, you gave Marrow a partial, careful explanation of what you'd noticed. Not a lore dump, not wild speculation. You told her enough to justify concern without sounding like drunk prophets or roadside lunatics. Specifically, you mentioned the unease along the road, the sense that travel here isn't neutral. You framed it as experience and instinct, not certainty. Something's off, rather than the road is haunted and judging us. Marrow took it seriously because she already had her own reasons to be wary. You didn't convince her from scratch. You confirmed suspicions she didn't want voiced. What you did not do, you didn't identify a clear supernatural cause. You didn't name a threat. You didn't claim knowledge you couldn't back up. So when Marrow asks now, she's not asking for the first time. She's asking a follow-up, a professional check-in, a last chance to add anything before I bet lives on forward motion. We can play this moment one of two clean ways. Your call, but no need to decide out loud yet. Marrow acknowledges what you already told her and asks if there's anything new. Or Marrow assumes you're holding something back and gives you space to either confirm or deny it. Either way, continuity is intact. No retcon needed, the road still waits, patient as rot.
Tell her that's everything we know.
I can't think of anything we know that she needs to know that we haven't already explained.
Okay. Sebastian tells Samaro that nothing's changed. It's time for us to get moving.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
I want to ask her, is there anything specific you're asking us that you think you need to know? That you suspect?
Isaboe asks, what now?
Is there anything specific you want to know that you might suspect?
Is there anything specific you ought to know that you might suspect?
Marrow studies Sebastian first. Not suspicious, not relieved, just checking the weather inside him. Good, she says quietly. I don't like surprises that grow teeth overnight. Her attention shifts to Isaboe as the question lands. That one gives her pause. Marrow exhales through her nose, a humorless almost laugh, then glances toward the lead wagon like it might overhear. Suspect, she repeats. Yeah, a few things. She keeps her voice low. This isn't for the guards. This is for people who've already admitted the world feels wrong. I've run this route 6 times since the Reach was resettled. Same road, same landmarks, same travel time. She taps a knuckle against the wagon's side. Last 2 runs, things stop lining up. We lose an hour, then we gain one. Campfires burn down faster than they should. Sounds carry too far, or not at all. She looks back at Isaboe, eyes sharp now. People sleep badly, not nightmares. Worse, they wake up convinced they missed something important, but they can't say what. A beat. And animals won't cross certain stretches unless you force them. Oxen, horses, doesn't matter. She straightens, decision settling back into her posture. So no, I don't know anything, but I suspect the road's doing more than sitting there. The caravan master raises her hand and gives a short signal. Harnesses tighten. Someone swears softly. Wheels begin to creak into motion. Marrow meets your eyes one last time. If either of you changes your mind about nothing's changed, don't wait. Say it. Roads like this punish silence. The caravan begins to roll east. Fog parts just enough to reveal the road ahead. Packed earth, old ruts, no visible threats. But the sense of being observed sharpens, like attention finally locking on. You're moving now. Tell me where Sebastian and Isaboe position themselves as the caravan sets out.
You want to go front? I'll go back.
That's fine with me.
All right.
Sebastian will take a seat on the lead wagon, and Isaboe will do the same on the last wagon.
Marrow gives a short nod as Sebastian climbs up onto the lead wagon. No argument, no territorial bullshit. If anything, she looks relieved. Someone up front who wants to see what's coming is never a bad thing. The driver flicks the reins. The oxen lean into their harnesses, muscles bunching, wood creaking like it's waking up sore and resentful. The caravan lurches forward. Sebastian, from the front, you get the first cut of the world as it opens. The road stretches ahead in a shallow curve, vanishing into thinning fog. Trees crowd close on either side, not clawing, not threatening, just present, patient. The pressure at the back of your thoughts doesn't spike, but it aligns like something approving a sensible choice. Movement creates terms. Terms create leverage. At the rear wagon, Isaboe settles in as the last wheels start rolling. From back here, Harrow's reach recedes quickly, too quickly. One moment you can still make out rooftops. The next, the town is just gone. No gradual fade, no bend in the road to explain it, just swallowed by fog and trees like it was never more than a suggestion. You watch the tree line, you watch the guards, you watch the gaps between wagons where something could step in if it wanted to. The sense that you're the punctuation mark at the end of the sentence is hard to shake. The caravan finds its rhythm. Wood creaks, leather sighs. Hooves and wheels chew the road into a steady, almost hypnotic cadence. Then, about 15 minutes in, something small but wrong happens. From the lead wagon, Sebastian notices the milestone ahead. Stone marker, half buried, weathered numbers. You remember passing one like it not long ago. Too recently. From the rear, Isaboe hears a sound that shouldn't be there. Footsteps. Not running, not approaching fast, just matching pace. Somewhere off to the right, beyond the trees, staying perfectly aligned with the caravan's speed. No one else reacts yet. The road keeps going. Tell me what Sebastian does when he spots the milestone, and what Isaboe does about the footsteps.
Sebastian will hop down and investigate the milestone. What are you gonna do, Isabeau?
I think I'm gonna do an insight check.
Isabeau wants to do an insight check, you said?
Yeah.
Insight check. For what?
Well, I hear footsteps.
About the footsteps.
Sebastian hops down from the lead wagon as it grinds to a slow crawl. Marrow throws him a look but doesn't stop him. She
Bless
takes
you.
judgment when she sees it, or at least respects the consequences of it. Up close, the milestone is worse than you thought. It's old limestone, cracked and sunk deep into the earth like the road grew around it rather than placed it there. The carved numerals are worn but legible, and that's the problem. They mark a distance you should not be seeing yet. Not even close. No clever angles, no tricks of perspective. This stone says you've already travelled farther than you have any right to. Sebastian, as you run a hand across the stone, there's no surge of magic, no heat, no whisper, just the unsettling absence of explanation, the kind that makes theologians nervous and accountants angry. At the back of the caravan, Isaboe slows her breathing and lets the sound happen without reacting to it. The footsteps aren't sloppy, not heavy. Whoever or whatever it is knows exactly how fast to move to stay unnoticed. That tells you something about intent, but not enough yet. Before we resolve that, Isaboe, go ahead and make an insight check. You're not trying to spot the source, you're trying to understand the behavior behind the sound. Tell me the result and we'll see what the road is thinking.
14. Can you turn her up a little bit?
No, I can turn down the music some. It's the only thing I can change.
Well, I can barely hear the music to begin with. I'm just having trouble hearing her.
Let me double check on my volume here.
My volume was down a little bit, so I just turned it up.
Okay, I'm up at 100, so 14 is what Isabeau rolled.
Isaboe listens past the sound itself and focuses on the choice behind it. With a 14, you don't get certainty, but you get shape. These footsteps aren't predatory, not stalking, not hunting. There's no tightening of pace, no testing lunge, no circling. Whatever's out there isn't trying to scare anyone yet either. That matters. Fear is noisy. This is restrained. What you're hearing feels deliberate and evaluative, like something keeping time. Like something learning how this caravan moves, where its weak spots are, who's watching and who isn't. Most telling of all, the footsteps never drift, not closer, not farther. They maintain a respectful, unsettling distance that reads less like an animal and more like intelligence with rules. Meanwhile, at the milestone, Sebastian straightens. You're sure now? This isn't a reused stone, not a prank, not erosion playing tricks. The road has advanced its accounting without moving the bodies on it. Distance has been negotiated. As Sebastian steps back toward the wagon, the pressure at the back of your thoughts tightens just a hair. Not warning, not approval, recognition. Malphas, his patron, is paying attention to the terms being revised. At the rear, Isaboe, the footsteps stop, not fade, not retreat. They stop exactly when you realize they were never careless enough to be heard by accident. The caravan continues forward, unaware, stretched between Sebastian at the front and Isaboe at the back, like a sentence that hasn't reached its verb yet. You both feel it now from opposite ends. The road isn't hostile, it's curious. Tell me, does Isaboe alert anyone quietly or keep this to herself for now? And does Sebastian tell Marrow what the milestone says or wait to see what comes next?
Well, I'm going to head up to the top of the caravan to talk to you.
Isaboe will move to the front of the caravan to talk to Sebastian.
Isaboe slips forward along the line of wagons with practiced ease, keeping her movement boring enough that no one questions it. Guards glance, then look away. People expect restlessness on the road. They don't expect it. By the time she reaches the lead wagon, Sebastian is just hauling himself back up, dust on his boots, eyes a little too focused for someone who just checked a rock. You end up standing close, the road unspooling ahead of you like it's pretending not to listen. Isaboe, quietly, low enough that the driver won't catch it. Something's been pacing us, not attacking, not hiding well enough to be an accident. It stopped when I clocked it. Sebastian, that lines up uncomfortably well with what you just learned. You glance back the way Isaboe came. Nothing obvious. Wagons, fog, trees behaving themselves. You tell her about the milestone, the distance being wrong, the road skipping steps in its own math. For a moment, neither of you speaks. The caravan rolls on. Then Marrow, without turning around, says, "Let me guess, you compared notes." She finally looks back at the two of you, eyes sharp but not angry. Good, that means you're still thinking like people who want to live. Ahead, the fog thins further and the road dips slightly, revealing a stretch you couldn't see before. The trees pull back just enough to expose an old roadside shrine. Weathered, unmaintained, its symbol has been deliberately chiseled away. As the lead wagon approaches it, every ox slows at the same time. Not stopping, but bracing. The road feels very interested in how you handle this. Tell me what Sebastian and Isaboe do as you near the shrine.
I'm sorry, I lost the end there. Jeff was asking me if that was a real person or ChatGPT.
There's a shrine that's revealed itself, an old roadside shrine, weathered, unmaintained. Its symbol is deliberately chiseled away. Tell me what Sebastian.
It's never been there before?
It's there. We just now came up on it.
Yeah, but I mean, is this old hat to the people who regularly run this route, or is this like, where the fuck did that come from?
Sebastian will tell Marrow that the distance is odd with the milestone. Then he will ask if the shrine is supposed to be there.
Marrow exhales through her nose as Sebastian speaks. Not disbelief, not surprise. The sound of someone having a private theory quietly upgraded to a public problem. The milestone? She repeats. Yeah, that tracks. She glances ahead at the shrine as it comes fully into view, then shakes her head once. No, that shrine is not supposed to be there. The wagons creak as the oxen slow another fraction, hooves grinding into the packed earth like they're trying to negotiate traction with reality itself. One of the guards mutters a prayer under his breath. Another pretends not to notice and grips his spear tighter. Marrow keeps talking, eyes forward. There used to be a marker here, nothing fancy, just a post, sometimes ribbons if locals pass through. Her jaw tightens. Shrines get remembered, maintained. Even abandoned ones don't just appear. As the lead wagon draws closer, her details sharpen. The stone base is old, older than the reach, but the damage is newer. The symbol wasn't weathered away, it was removed, chiseled out with care. Whoever did it wanted absence, not replacement. The niche where an offering statue should be is empty, scraped clean. Sebastian, you feel it before anything supernatural happens, which is worse. The pressure in your thoughts doesn't surge or whisper, it waits like a contract held just out of sight. Isaboe, your instincts flare. This is a decision point. Shrines are thresholds, even broken ones. Marrow raises a hand and the caravan slows to a crawl. We don't stop unless we have to, she says. Road like this, stopping invites conversation. She finally looks at you both. So, do we acknowledge it and pass, or do we see what it wants before it decides for us? The shrine looms just ahead, patient and blank. Your move.
I say we let the caravan move slowly, but we go check out the shrine.
Like, how check out, check out?
Like go up to it and check to see what if there's anything else we can see about it, or maybe place something on the altar. Some
Well, you are a
sacrifice.
higher level than me, and you've got magical shit that I don't got. So,
You're level 3 just as me.
oh, I thought you were a 6.
No, I'm level 3.
Okay,
Simon's
you
level.
still got magical shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can do that.
Let
I'll
me
stay
see.
behind you.
Okay. Let me see if I've got detect magic. I do not have detect magic.
Squeeze me.
I don't have detect magic. I thought I
Squeeze
did.
me.
Sebastian tells the caravan to keep moving slowly while Isaboe will join him from behind while Sebastian uses his arcana to see if there's anything out of place with the shrine other than it's not supposed to be there.
Marrow gives a sharp nod at Sebastian's call. No debate, no second guessing. Slow and steady, she orders, and the drivers obey. The caravan keeps crawling forward, wheels turning just enough to say we're not stuck, but not enough to look eager. Isaboe moves up alongside Sebastian, eyes never leaving the shrine. From this close, it feels less like a roadside object and more like a pause in the sentence of the world. Not a stop, a comma. Sebastian focuses, letting his training and his faith overlap just enough to be useful without opening the door too wide. You're not asking Malthus, his patron, for favors. You're reading the margins. Sebastian, make an arcana check. You're not looking for fireworks. You're looking for wrongness. Residue. Absence, where something should echo. Tell me the result, and we'll see what the shrine has been edited out of.
Arcana +5. Ooh. What was 7? Sebastian rolled a 7. Arcana.
Sebastian lets the senses open just enough to scan, not invoke, and that turns out to be the problem. With a 7, nothing lights up. No aura, no hum, no residue that Arcana likes to grab onto, which is deeply wrong, because this shrine should feel dead at minimum. Old faiths leave stains, even abandoned gods echo like bad acoustics. This one doesn't. It's not inert, it's quiet on purpose, not masked, not suppressed, removed. Like a word cut so cleanly from a sentence that the grammar still pretends it belongs there. Up close, the chisel marks tell the same story. Careful, precise. Whoever erased the symbol knew exactly what they were doing and exactly what not to damage. The shrine wasn't desecrated in rage. It was edited. Isaboe, standing next to Sebastian, your instincts prickle harder now. This doesn't feel like an ambush site. It feels like a checkpoint that no longer has a guard, but still has rules. As the lead wagon passes the shrine, every ox exhales at the same time. Not panic, relief, like passing something they were told never to touch. Then, just as the last wagon clears the stone, the pressure lifts. Not gone, just satisfied. Marrow watches the shrine slide past, jaw tight. Well, she mutters, that's new. The caravan picks up a fraction of speed on its own, drivers not even realizing they're doing it. Behind you, Isaboe, the footsteps do not return. Ahead, the road straightens unnaturally far, longer than it should be, like it's rewarding good behavior. Whatever that shrine was for, you passed its test by not giving it what it wanted. The road continues. Tell me, do Sebastian and Isaboe share what they didn't sense with Marrow, or keep that silence between themselves for now?
I say we keep it to ourselves.
Okay. To ourselves.
Neither of you says anything. Sebastian lets the silence sit where it belongs, between thought and consequence. Saying nothing is sometimes the most accurate report. Isaboe mirrors it instinctively. Some information doesn't get safer when it's shared, it just gets louder. Marrow watches you both anyway. She doesn't press. That tells you something about her. She knows the difference between ignorance and discretion, and she's smart enough not to demand a truth she might regret carrying. The shrine disappears behind the last wagon, swallowed by fog like it was embarrassed to exist at all. The road changes after that, not dramatically. That would be honest. Instead, it becomes cooperative. The surface smooths, the oxen settle, wheels hit fewer ruts. The sky lightens just enough to suggest progress without promising anything. Time starts behaving again, or at least pretending to. Isaboe, you keep checking the tree line. No footsteps, no pacing presence. Whatever was keeping time with you has either moved on or decided you passed inspection. Sebastian, the pressure at the back of your thoughts loosens into something almost conversational, not a voice, a posture. Malthus, his patron, seems content to let the road play out. For now, contracts don't need interference when the other party is revealing its clauses voluntarily. After another stretch of quiet travel, Marrow signals for a short halt, not a camp, just enough time to water the oxen and let people breathe without admitting they needed to. As the caravan settles, one of the guards approaches, uneasy but trying to look casual. Road ahead opens into a low cut, he says. Can't see far through it. Sound carries weird. Marrow nods, then looks to the two of you. Nothing urgent, she says, but I'd rather know who's watching what. The road waits again, patient as ever, like it knows it's already been invited into the conversation. Episode 2 is fully underway.
Okay. I say we move ahead and check out the weird space of road.
You think we should go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sebastian and Isaboe both go forward to the same stretch of road. You all right?
Yeah, I'm in a bowl.
Oh, I can't see you.
Why can't you see me?
Because I'm not looking at that screen. I'm looking at the ChatGPT screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're going to check that stretch of road.
Sebastian and Isabeau move together toward the front, boots crunching softly on gravel that feels a little too evenly packed. The caravan slows behind you without being told, like it's learned the choreography already. Ahead, the road narrows into the cut. Two low embankments rise on either side, not steep enough to be defensive, not shallow enough to be natural. The stone looks old, but the edges are suspiciously clean, like erosion followed instructions. Fog gathers here differently, not thicker, quieter. Sound doesn't echo so much as it fails to commit. A dropped pebble doesn't bounce right. A cough dies halfway through itself. Sebastian, from up front, you notice something subtle but irritating. The road markings, ruts, wear patterns. They suggest traffic that doesn't line up in time. Heavy wagons, yes, but spaced wrong, like travellers pass through years apart and minutes apart at the same time. Isabeau, your skin crawls with the sense that this is a place where things step aside rather than forward. No obvious cover, no ambush angles, which makes it worse. Predators like geometry. This place feels like it prefers process. The air cools by a degree, not temperature, intention. From behind you, Marrow's voice carries, careful not to push sound too hard. You see something? You're both at the threshold now. The cut waits, blank and expectant. Before anything commits to happening, I need this. Sebastian, make a perception check. Isabeau, make a perception check as well. Not to spot enemies, to notice what the road is doing around you. Tell me the results and we'll see who the cut is really meant for.
I got a 25.
Thank God. I got a 4. 25, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
Sebastian squints into the cut and gets nothing useful. fog, stone, silence. The road gives you a perfectly reasonable lie and dares you to be satisfied with it. If there's a pattern here, it's hiding just out of reach, like fine print printed in smoke. Isaboe, though, yeah, you see it. The road isn't empty, it's layered. With a 25, the illusion of normalcy peels back just enough to show the machinery underneath. The cut isn't just a narrow stretch of road, it's a convergent seam. Multiple versions of this same road have passed through here at different times, and instead of choosing one, the world stacked them. Old wagon ruts that don't line up because they were never meant to exist together. Footprints that begin halfway up the embankment and fade before touching the ground. Scuff marks where something heavy weighted rather than walked. Most unsettling of all, you notice this. Sound doesn't carry wrong here by accident. It's being sorted. Certain noises die quickly. Others would carry far. Speech would travel better than screams. Footsteps better than running. Quiet choices are rewarded. Panic would be amplified. This place isn't for ambush, it's for witnessing decisions. You also spot a detail no one else does. Set into the stone on the left embankment, almost erased by time and intent, is a shallow groove pattern. Not a symbol, not writing. More like tally marks that were smoothed over and then partially returned. This stretch of road has been used before. Sebastian, as Isaboe tenses beside you, you feel it too. Not visually, but structurally. The pressure at the back of your thoughts firms up, like Malthus, his patron, recognizing a clause he's seen in other contracts. Not hostile, not helpful, interested. Behind you, the caravan waits, unaware that the road ahead is less a place and more a question. Isaboe, you are certain of one thing. If someone speaks loudly here, the road will remember it. Tell me exactly what Isaboe does with this information and whether Sebastian notices her reaction.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is tell you.
The first thing Isaboe does is tell Sebastian. And then what?
And then we have to decide how to handle this from here on out.
Okay.
Because these people are going to have to be chill as fuck.
Isaboe leans in close to Sebastian, close enough that the fog and stone eat the sound for anyone else. She doesn't whisper like she's afraid. She whispers like she's being polite. This stretch isn't empty, she says. It's layered. Different passes of the same road stacked on top of each other. Sound gets sorted here. Quiet choices carry better than loud ones. She shifts just enough to indicate the embankment without pointing. This place watches decisions, not people. If someone panics or shouts, the road keeps it. Sebastian, the moment she says it, the vague unease snaps into focus. That explains the milestones, the shrine, the footsteps keeping time. The road isn't hunting travelers, it's auditing them. And that recognition matters. The pressure behind your eyes tightens, then eases. Not approval, confirmation. Malthus, his patron, has absolutely seen systems like this before. Long contracts, slow leverage. Environments that enforce terms without ever speaking them aloud. From behind you, Marrow waits. She hasn't moved the caravan forward. She's watching your body language now, not your mouths. Ahead, the cut remains perfectly still. No wind, no birds, no footsteps, just a place designed to record how you proceed. You now have a narrow window where nothing is yet required. Do you guide the caravan through with specific instructions? Test the cut with a controlled action? Or step aside and let someone else unknowingly trigger it? Tell me what Sebastian and Isaboe do next.
I think we need to guide them through with specific instructions.
Okay. Sebastian will first say, in the name of Malthus, I protect this piece of road for as long as I travel it.
Well, that's a cool trick.
Then will guide the caravan through with specific instructions.
Sebastian steps forward just half a pace, enough to claim presence without turning into theatre. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't posture. He states it the way contracts are stated when both sides already understand the stakes. In the name of Malphas, his patron, I protect this piece of road for as long as I travel it. The words don't echo, they seat themselves, not as magic in the flashy sense, no glow, no ripple. Instead, the cut reacts the way a ledger does when a new clause is added in competent handwriting. The pressure behind your eyes firms, then settles. Somewhere deep in the structure of this place, a note has been made, jurisdiction asserted, duration limited, witness present. Isaboe feels it too. The seam doesn't resist, it adjusts. Then you turn back to the caravan. You keep it simple, calm, specific. No shouting, Isaboe says. No running. Speak only if you have to, and keep it normal. Walk pace stays even. If you feel like stopping, don't. Sebastian adds, steady as stone, eyes forward, hands where you can see them. We're just passing through. Marrow doesn't argue. She relays the instructions down the line in the same tone she'd use for a narrow bridge or bad weather. Practical, unafraid. The drivers comply. Guards tighten formation without clanking armor. Someone swallows hard and keeps quiet. The caravan enters the cut. Sound behaves. Wheels creak, but softly. Hooves land like punctuation instead of exclamation points. A nervous cough halfway back dies before it can become a problem. The road accepts the behavior the way a lock accepts the right key. Isaboe watches the embankments as they pass. The faint tally marks don't vanish, but they don't deepen either. No new grooves are added. Sebastian, halfway through, you feel the boundary of your declaration brush against something old and procedural. Not a challenge, more like professional courtesy. The road recognizes the protection, notes the temporary nature of it, and allows passage without amendment. Then, just like that, the cut ends. Sound returns. Wind picks up. A bird startles out of a tree and actually finishes its call. The oxen relax as if they've been holding a breath they didn't know they were holding. Behind you, the seam does not close. It simply stops caring. Marrow rides up alongside you once the last wagon clears. Well, she says quietly, that could have gone worse. She doesn't ask what you did. She just says, next time the road gets curious, I'd rather you be up front again. The caravan resumes its normal pace, but everyone feels it now. Not fear. Awareness. The road has been addressed, and it listens. Tell me how Sebastian and Isaboe react once you're fully clear of the cut.
Relieved? I mean, fuck.
Isaboe reacts, relieved. Sebastian thanks Malphas for the protection. By the way, you don't have to say Malphas, his patron, all the time. You can just say Malphas.
And Isaboe adds afterwards, yeah, swell job, Malphas. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Isaboe doesn't make a show of it. She just lets the tension drain out of her shoulders. A long, quiet exhale she didn't realize she'd been holding. Her eyes keep scanning out of habit, but the edge is gone. Whatever that place was, it's behind you now. It didn't take anything with it. Sebastian lingers a moment longer in the wagon, fingers brushing the symbol at his chest. No flourish, no bargaining, just gratitude offered cleanly. Thank you, he says under his breath. There's no reply. None is needed. Malthus is the sort who notices results, not praise. The sense of pressure that's been hovering at the edge of your thoughts loosens further, settling into something like professional satisfaction. A clause invoked, a boundary respected, business concluded for now. Behind you, the caravan relaxes in small human ways. A guard cracks a joke that lands badly but breaks the silence anyway. Someone laughs too hard. The road ahead looks normal, not safe, just honest about its dangers. Marrow rides up alongside again, eyes forward. We'll make camp before dusk, she says. No sense pushing our luck. The road stretches on, longer than it should be, straighter than it has any right to be, but it feels less curious now, less interested in testing you. For the moment, you're not being examined. You're just travelers again, moving through a world that has noticed you once and decided not to press the issue yet. Episode 2 continues.
We continue with the caravan. Like we're supposed to do.
The caravan settles back into its intended shape, like a spine straightening after a bad bend. Wheels turn, oxen pull, guards fall into their practiced rhythms. Whatever invisible attention the road had been paying has drifted, not gone, just filed away for later review. Isaboe takes her place again toward the rear, watchful, but no longer coiled tight. The tree line behaves itself, no pacing footsteps, no borrowed timing. Just wind-in branches and the occasional bird that sounds like it belongs to this version of the world. Sebastian remains forward, posture easy now, eyes scanning more out of habit than alarm. The road ahead keeps its distance, milestones behave. Time resumes its boring linear march, which feels like a small mercy. As the day wears on, the light shifts. Afternoon slides toward that bruised amber hue that means evening is coming, whether you're ready or not. The land opens slightly, enough to make camping feasible without feeling exposed. Marrow gives the signal near dusk. Camp is set efficiently. No songs, no unnecessary fires, just enough flame to cook and keep teeth from chattering. People talk in low voices, the way folks do after something strange that no one wants to be the first to name. Nothing attacks, nothing reveals itself, nothing happens. And that, after today, feels deliberate. The road lies quiet beyond the firelight, stretching onward into dark it hasn't earned yet. You've moved correctly, you've been noticed, and for now that seems to be enough. When you're ready, we can move into the night watch, a private conversation, or let sleep come and see what follows you into dreams.
I can take first watch.
Do you want to have a private conversation about anything?
I really don't know what to say. I mean, all this is fucked up. I mean, we can talk, but, do you have any thoughts on this? Does your
Not,
Does your patron have any thoughts on this?
I'm not sure. I think I need to ask him directly. Sebastian will ask Malthus, what the hell is going on?
Malfoy goes, "Don't use that tone with me, son."
Sebastian doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't kneel. He doesn't posture for an audience that isn't there. He just asks it, plain and irritated, like a professional demanding clarity from another professional. What the hell is going on? The knight doesn't answer right away. The fire pops. Someone shifts in their bedroll. The caravan breathes in its sleep. Then the pressure behind your thoughts returns, not heavy, not sharp, just present enough to be unmistakable. Malthus does not speak in sentences. He answers in understanding. You feel the shape of it click into place. This road isn't cursed. It isn't alive. It's instrumented. A long time ago, someone with patience, authority, and an unhealthy respect for process turned a stretch of the world into a filter, not a trap, not a guardian, a system. Travelers move through it. Their choices are observed. Loudness, fear, hesitation, reverence, assertion, all logged without judgment. Why? Because roads are leverage. Control the road and you don't need walls. You don't need soldiers. You let people reveal themselves in motion. Who panics? Who leads? Who invokes power? And whether that power knows how to answer cleanly. The shrine wasn't for worship. It was a compliance marker, removed once its purpose outlived its creators. The cup wasn't for ambush. It was a decision sampler, and your declaration, that amused him, not because it was bold, because it was correct. Temporary authority, clear scope, no attempt at ownership. That's how contracts survive hostile environments. The sense you get now isn't warning or instruction. It's context. You are moving through the leftovers of someone else's long game. And Malthus, very calmly, lets you know one more thing. Whatever built this didn't finish. Whatever uses it now does not fully understand it. And roads like this eventually notice people who notice them back. The pressure fades, leaving you with a quiet certainty and an uncomfortable implication. This wasn't random. And you passed because you acted like someone the system was designed to respect. The fire burns low, the road waits, and sleep is going to be interesting.
Okay, then. You say you'll take first watch?
Yeah, I'll wake you up at like 3.
Isaboe will take first watch and wake Sebastian around 3. Sebastian will go into his trance for a long rest. Okay, I'm back.
You never left.
Okay.
The watches fall into place without ceremony. Isaboe takes first watch, settling where she can see both the fire and the dark beyond it. She keeps her movements minimal, breath slow, senses open. The night behaves itself. No footsteps pacing the perimeter, no curious pressure in the trees, just insects, the low murmur of sleepers turning in their bedrolls, and the steady reassurance of the caravan existing as a collective thing. Still, she watches like the road might get ideas. Time moves properly. That alone feels like a victory. But when the stars have shifted enough to matter and the night has thinned toward its deepest, coldest hour, Isaboe moves quietly to Sebastian and nudges his boot. Your turn, she murmurs. No urgency, no fear, just procedure. Sebastian wakes easily and slips into position as Isaboe lies down, sleep taking her quickly now that vigilance is no longer required. Sebastian settles into his trance, body still, mind drifting into that half-aware state where thought loosens and patterns surface without effort. The fire crackles low, the road lies beyond the edge of camp, dark and unremarkable. Malthus does not intrude. That too is information. Your trance is undisturbed. No dreams press in, no contracts whisper. Just rest, clean and unclaimed. The kind that comes when boundaries were drawn correctly and respected. By the time dawn begins to hint at itself, pale and indecisive, the caravan still stands whole. You made it through the night. Whatever noticed you earlier did not follow you into sleep. Morning will come soon, and with it, the road will continue pretending to be ordinary.
Okay. Well, I guess it's the next day, and we're getting ready to head out again. Let's get this moving.
Dawn shows up the way it did yesterday, like it's not sure anyone deserves it. Camp stirs in stages. Someone curses quietly while stamping, feeling back into their feet. A kettle goes on. Oxen snort and shake dew from their hides. The fire is reduced to coals and then scattered, no sense, leaving signatures behind for a road that clearly reads them. Isaboe wakes with that clean post-watch exhaustion. Nothing followed her into sleep. No dreams worth reporting. The kind of nothing that feels earned. Sebastian comes out of his trance steady and clear. Whatever questions were left hanging last night stayed hung. Malthus is silent, which at this point feels less like absence and more like confidence. Marrow walks the line of wagons, checking knots, speaking in low tones, making sure everyone's moving like they intend to arrive somewhere. She stops near the front when she sees the two of you. We'll be rolling in a minute, she says. Terrain opens up a bit today. Fewer trees, more sky, different problems. She squints eastward where the road disappears into morning haze. Whatever yesterday was, it doesn't usually repeat itself immediately. Roads like to vary their questions. The caravan starts to organize itself. Drivers mount up. Guards take positions. The day feels neutral. Not safe, not hostile, just unwritten. You're back where you're supposed to be. Tell me, does Isaboe take the rear again or shift positions today? Does Sebastian stay on the lead wagon or does he walk for a while? We'll get this road moving.
Sebastian will walk for now. What about you, Isaboe? You gonna stay at the back?
Yeah, I'll stay at the back.
The caravan lurches forward again. Wood and leather complaining in familiar ways as the road accepts your weight for another day. Sebastian drops down to walk alongside the lead wagon, boots finding an easy rhythm with the oxen's pace. From down here, the road feels different, less symbolic, more physical. Packed earth, Scattered stone, the honest labour of feet and wheels. Whatever authority you claimed yesterday doesn't need to be reasserted. It's already filed. Isaboe settles back into her place at the rear, where the road ends and choices show their consequences. The town from last night is gone almost immediately, swallowed by distance in a way that no longer feels suspicious. The tree line thins as promised. Sky opens overhead, pale and washed but real. Morning passes quietly. Then, near midday, Isaboe notices something small and wrong. The last wagon's tracks are cleaner than they should be, not erased, not doubled, just finished, like the road is being careful with them. Sebastian, up front, you feel a faint tug in the rhythm of walking, not magical, not intrusive, more like the road briefly checking whether you're still paying attention. Ahead, the road crests a low rise and drops into open ground. You can see farther now, far enough to notice a lone figure standing off to the side of the road, well ahead of the caravan, not approaching, not signalling, just waiting. The caravan hasn't clocked them yet. Isaboe sees it from the back first. Sebastian, you spot it seconds later from the front, silhouette stark against the open land. One person, still patient. The road has decided it's time for a different kind of question. Tell me how Sebastian and Isaboe react.
Well, I'm going to tell the wagon to stop.
Yeah. I'll head up to the front.
Will tell the caravan to stop. Isaboe.
Hey, I mean, they're at the front, right?
Move to the front. Yes, they're in front of us.
Yeah, I'm going to move to the front with you.
Of the caravan to be with Sebastian. Yeah, I'm getting really tired of typing Sebastian out. So
Call him Seb.
when I say SAB, I mean Sebastian. Does that work?
You can call me Izzy if you want, if that's easier.
No, Isaboe's fine. I get a problem around Sebastian for some reason.
Sebastian is what I wanted to name Lydia if she'd been a boy.
Yeah, that works just fine. Seb equals Sebastian from here on out. Seb raises a hand and calls the halt, voice firm and carrying just enough authority that no one questions it. Wheels creak, oxen slow, then stop. The caravan freezes in that in-between posture of people who trust the call but don't like it. Marrow's eyes snap forward immediately, already searching for the reason. She doesn't argue. That's becoming a pattern. Isaboe moves up the line without haste, slipping past wagons and guards until she's beside Seb at the front. The two of you stand there together, road dust on your boots, the caravan stretched behind you like a held breath. The figure ahead doesn't react to the stop. That's important. They stand maybe 100 feet off the road, just far enough to be unmistakably not an accident. No weapon drawn. No visible pack. Cloaked, but not dramatically so. The kind of clothing meant to survive weather, not make statements. They're facing you, waiting to be acknowledged, not chasing it. The road feels attentive again, not tense, not hostile, like a clerk who's turned the page and is ready for the next entry. Marrow rides up slowly until she's a few feet behind you. Friend of yours? She asks, already knowing the answer is no. The figure finally moves, one step closer to the road. Stops, hands visible. Empty. No shout, no greeting, just presence. Whatever this is, it's not an ambush. It's an introduction. Tell me what Seb does next and whether Isaboe speaks or simply watches.
Seb will hold his hands out, palms out, showing no harm. He moves closer to the figure. What are you going to do, Isaboe?
I am going to curtsy and say, "Hail, fail traveler." Why the fuck
Curtsy
not?
and yell.
Not yell and say, I'm not going to yell it. I'm just going to say it nicely.
Nicely. Hail,
Yes, hail, fail traveler.
fellow traveler.
Yeah, fellow traveler.
Okay. You made that into one syllable somehow.
It's old school. It's 1169 me coming out.
Huh.
Seb raises his hands slowly, palms out, the universal sign for I'm not here to make this worse. He steps away from the caravan, boots crunching softly on the road, pace unhurried, not cautious enough to look afraid, not bold enough to look stupid.
Go.
Isaboe follows a few steps behind, then stops, smooth as silk. She gives a small, almost old-fashioned curtsy, polite, disarming. Just enough respect to say you exist, not enough to surrender anything. Hail, fellow traveller, she says, voice warm, perfectly ordinary. The kind of greeting that has survived centuries because it offends no one. The figure watches all of it. Up close, they're unremarkable, and that's the problem. At average height, average build, their cloak is road-worn, patched, and practical. Their face is visible. No hood drama, no scars begging for a backstory. If you passed them in a market, you would forget them 5 seconds later. They incline their head slightly at Isaboe's greeting. Well met, they reply. Their voice is calm, measured, and carries just a little farther than it should. Not loud, just clear, like the road wants you to hear it. I was hoping you would stop. Behind you, the caravan is silent. Even the oxen have gone still. The figure's eyes move briefly to Seb's hands, then back to his face. You travel correctly, they say, not as praise, as assessment. That is becoming rare. They glance past you toward the wagons, then back again. I won't delay you long. I only needed to see who was leading today. The road tightens its attention, subtle as a held breath. This person did not flag you down. They did not block the road. They waited to be acknowledged. And now that they have been, they are deciding what that means of you. They look between the two of you. Not demanded, not urgent, but the way the question is asked makes it clear that how you answer matters. Your move.
Sebastian of Malthus. What about you? What do you want to say your name is?
My name is Isaboe of many talents.
Bow of many talents.
I'm so talented, I'm going to just behind a tree and grab a tea.
Okay.
Yeah, my house ain't that big.
Okay. It looks like we've got 3 viewers right now.
What's up, peeps?
The figure nods once as Seb speaks. Sebastian of Malthus. They don't correct it. That's telling. They accept the name as offered, the way a clerk accepts the spelling you insist on and files it accordingly. Somewhere in the background of your awareness, Malthus registers the moment with mild interest, not offence. Names are flexible tools. Intent matters more. Their eyes shift to Isaboe as she follows. Isaboe of many talents. That earns the faintest curve of a smile. Not amusement, recognition. Titles like that are either bravado or warning. This one reads as accurate accounting. Good, the figure says after a beat. Then I won't pretend this is a coincidence. They step fully onto the road now, boots settling into the dust as if they've stood there before, as if they've always stood there. My name isn't important, they continue. Names stick. I prefer to travel light. Behind you, Marrow stiffens but stays quiet. She knows better than to interrupt exchanges like this. The figure looks past you down the road you've already travelled. You passed a shrine that no longer serves its purpose. You crossed a scene without feeding it panic. You asserted protection without claiming ownership. Their gaze returns to Seb. And you did it cleanly. Then to Isaboe. And you watched instead of reacting. Also rare. They fold their hands loosely in front of them. I wanted to see if that was luck or habit. The road feels neutral again, observant but no longer leaning in. The figure inclines their head just slightly. It appears to be habit. They step aside, clearing the road completely. I won't keep you, but understand this. Stretches like this are waking up. Old systems, half-forgotten rules. Most travellers trip them without ever knowing why. Their eyes meet Sem Isaboe's one after the other. You won't. With that, they turn and walk away from the road. Not into the trees, not into the open ground, but into a shallow dip that should still be visible. 3 steps in, they're gone. Not vanished. Simply no longer part of this version of the landscape. The road relaxes. The caravan exhales. Marrow lets out a slow breath. I'm guessing that wasn't just some guy. The road ahead is clear again. For now. Tell me how Seb and Isaboe respond, and whether they share any of that with Marrow, or keep this one filed under things the road knows.
Well, y'all need to be on your best behavior. Act like you in fucking church.
Who are you telling that to?
Everyone.
Isaboe tells everyone to be on their best behavior, like in church.
Isaboe turns back toward the caravan, posture easy but voice carrying just enough authority to cut through the murmurs. All right, she says, calm, almost pleasant. From here on out, assume we're in church. A couple guards blink. Someone snorts despite themselves. She doesn't smile. No shouting, no running, no dramatic bullshit. You feel nervous, you sit with it quietly and let it pass. We walk, we breathe, we mind our manners. That lands. People straighten. Hands adjust on reins. Armor stops clinking so much. Even the oxen seem to settle, as if tone alone is a kind of handling. Marrow gives Isaboe a long look, then nods once. She doesn't ask questions. She just relays the message in her own words down the line, practical and firm. Whatever skepticism existed evaporates. Everyone felt that encounter, even if they don't have language for it. Seb, as you step back toward the lead wagon, the road gives you that faint tug again. Not pressure, not warning. More like Malthus remains silent, which at this point reads as approval by omission. The caravan starts moving. The figure does not reappear. No echo, no delayed consequence, just absence done properly. Ahead, the road stretches on through open land, honest in its dangers, boring in the way that feels earned. But now everyone walks like they're aware they're being graded on form, not speed. You've set the tone, and roads like this, they remember tone. The caravan continues forward, a little quieter, a little sharper, and very carefully well behaved. Whenever you're ready, we can push on to the next complication, the next quiet test, or let the road pretend it's done asking questions for a while.
What do you want to do?
push on to the next complication.
Sure.
We push on to the next complication.
The road obliges. Not immediately. It never does. It gives you a few honest miles first, just long enough for people to believe the lesson stuck and the world has gone back to being merely difficult instead of personal. The land flattens into open scrub and low grass. Wind moves freely here, dragging smells with it. Dust, old rain, something faintly metallic. The sky is too big, the kind that makes caravans feel small and thoughts wander where they shouldn't. Then the complication arrives, the way grown problems usually do. Quiet, administrative. Mid-afternoon, one of the wagons refuses to cooperate. Not a dramatic break, no snapped axle, no burst wheel, just a slow creeping resistance. The ox pulling it starts to lag, muscles bunching as if the ground itself has grown heavier beneath that one wagon alone. The driver curses softly and leans into the reins. Nothing changes. From the front, Seb feels it first. The caravan's rhythm stutters like a sentence missing a syllable. From the back, Isaboe sees the spacing tighten as everyone unconsciously compensates. People don't panic. They follow instructions. They behave. That might be the problem. The wagon in question carries nothing special as far as the manifest goes. Grain, tools, trade goods, boring inventory. But the road doesn't care about paperwork. It cares about weight, and not all weight is physical. As Marrow rides back to assess the situation, the air does something familiar. Sound thins. Wind hesitates. The road pays attention again. Not with curiosity this time, with expectation. This isn't a scene. This isn't a shrine. This is a demand disguised as logistics. Something in that wagon is not supposed to pass together with something else in the caravan, or not yet, or not without acknowledgement. The road hasn't decided which. Marrow looks to Seb and Isaboe, jaw tight. It's like pulling through mud, she says, but only there. We redistribute the load, we slow everyone, or... She trails off. She knows better than to finish that thought aloud. The caravan waits, the road waits. Tell me what Seb and Isaboe do when the road decides the problem is inventory.
Seb will. I had it a second ago. Investigate the wagon and try to see what the problem with the inventory is. You want to do anything?
We done did it.
Okay. Who is this we're listening to now? Athena the Fourth. Dead King's hauntingly majestic dark fantasy music. Got a Pink Floyd vibe from the music for a second there. It was pretty cool.
Seb steps off the rhythm of the caravan and goes straight to the problem wagon. No ceremony, no announcement, just boots in the dust and a hand on weathered wood. Up close, the wagon looks exactly as advertised. Grain sacks stacked cleanly, crates stamped with trademarks, tools wrapped and bundled the way tools always are. Nothing glowing, nothing bleeding, nothing screaming plot device. And yet, the ox harnessed to it is straining like it's pulling a memory instead of weight. Its breath comes slow and resentful. The wheels aren't sunk. The axle isn't warped. Physics on paper is behaving. Sebastian, as you lay a hand on the side rail, you feel the mismatch immediately. Not magic, not curse, context error. This wagon isn't heavier, it's less compatible. The road doesn't object to what's inside, it objects to what's inside together. One of the crates near the center gives you that faint tug you've learned to recognize. Not pressure, not warning. The same sensation you felt when the road checked whether you were still paying attention earlier. A polite request for review. Marrow watches you from a few steps back, arms crossed. Manifest says grain and tools, she says. That crate's been with us since Harrow's Reach. No trouble before today. Which is also important, because roads like this don't always care where something came from. They care where it's going. Seb, you can. Open the crate and see what the road is objecting to. Compare it against nearby wagons to see what combination is causing friction. Or address the road directly again and ask what condition it's enforcing this time. Tell me what Seb does next and whether Isaboe assists or watches the perimeter.
Seb says, Malthus, guide me as I open crate in question. Is that all right?
Yeah. Well, let me investigate it first for traps.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Seb rests a hand on the crate, breathes once, and mutters it like a professional asking another professional not to let him screw this up. Malthus, guide me. There's no surge, no blessing with soundtrack moment, just that familiar sense of alignment, like your hand and the problem agreed to meet honestly. You pry the crate open. Inside, ledgers. Not magical, not cursed. Bound books wrapped in oilcloth, packed carefully to survive weather and time. Ink-stamped seals mark them as caravan records, trade tallies, debt notes, routing logs. Boring. Painfully boring. And the road hates them. The moment the lid comes free, the pressure shifts, not spikes, not anger, more like relief mixed with disapproval. This is the item, or rather, this is the category. As you thumb one open, it gets clearer. These aren't just records of goods, they're records of obligation. Who owes whom? Who defaulted? Who rerouted supplies to survive last winter? Names scratched out, margins amended, decisions made quietly and then justified later in ink. Nothing illegal, nothing dramatic, but these ledgers tell the story of promises broken to keep people alive. Isaboe, watching the perimeter, feels it too when the crate opens. The road's attention narrows, not on Seb, not on the caravan, but on the idea of accounting. This road remembers older rules, older systems, times when obligations were enforced differently. Marrow swears softly when she sees what's inside. Not panic, recognition. Those, she says, are headed east, arbitration town, clean-up work, debts settled, names cleared or condemned. There it is. The road doesn't object to the ledgers existing. It objects to them passing without acknowledgement. This stretch of road was built to enforce terms directly, to watch decisions play out in motion, not be reduced to ink and handed off elsewhere. You're trying to move judgment out of its jurisdiction. The ox snorts, stamping once, like punctuation. Seb, you understand now. You don't have to destroy the ledgers. You don't even have to give them up. But the road wants a condition met, an acknowledgement, a witness, or a reordering of how responsibility is carried. Malthus doesn't tell you what to do. He just makes sure you understand the clause. The caravan waits. Tell me how Seb responds to the road's objection and whether Isaboe says anything before that the decision is made.
No.
You know what?
With side eye.
Huh?
I stand there with side eye.
Isaboe stands there with side eye
At Marrow.
at Marrow.
Because I'm a rogue, but damn. That's my job, not some fucking caravan's job. Steal money from me, bitch.
Seb says, In the name of Malthus, I recognize these accounts. My protection applies to all of the contents herein.
Isaboe doesn't say a word. She just gives Marrow that look. Not accusation, not threat. The look you give someone when you're silently asking, you knew this might matter, didn't you? Marrow meets it, doesn't flinch. Seb stands at the open crate, one hand resting on the ledgers like they're a stack of sleeping snakes. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't dramatize it. He speaks into the space the road has clearly set aside for exactly this kind of thing. In the name of Malthus, I recognize these accounts, he says. My protection applies to all of the contents herein. The words land. This time the road answers, not with sound, with resolution. The resistance bleeds out of the wagon like pressure leaving a sealed jar. The ox exhales hard, muscles loosening. The sense of expectation snaps shut, clause satisfied, condition met. Whatever administrative spirit built into this stretch of world needed a responsible party, not a sacrifice. You didn't deny the debts, you didn't absolve them. You named a witness and accepted temporary custodianship. That's enough. Seb, the alignment clicks again. Malthus doesn't intrude, but there's a definite sense of approval, the kind that comes when someone uses authority precisely instead of loudly. You didn't claim judgment, you claimed oversight. Isaboe feels the road let go, not sulking, not resentful, finished. Marrow closes her eyes for half a second, then nods once. All right, she says quietly. That explains some things. She doesn't ask how, she doesn't ask why. She gestures to the driver who clicks his tongue and gets the wagon moving again. This time it rolls clean. The caravan resumes its pace. Spacing settles, wind returns to normal. The sky stops feeling like it's leaning in. The road has been satisfied again, not because you obeyed it, because you spoke its language. Ahead, the land rises slightly, revealing a distant line of low stone ruins on the horizon, old, pre-road maybe, or built to watch it. The next complication won't be subtle, but for now the caravan moves, intact and properly accounted for. Keep going?
We've been going for an hour and a half now. Do you want to keep on going now or not?
We can keep going.
Okay.
The caravan moves on, not easily, not hard, just correctly, which is starting to feel like the highest compliment this road knows how to give. The ledgers stay where they are. The crate remains open just long enough for the road to register that nothing was hidden anymore. Then Seb closes it again. The ox pulls without complaint. The wagon tracks look normal, boring, earned. Ahead, the low stone ruins resolve as the distance closes. Not a settlement, not a fort. Too spread out. Too intentional, a ring of half-fallen markers, each about waist high, spaced evenly on both sides of the road, like someone once cared very much about where the road passed and wanted it to stay put. Isaboe clocks the pattern first from the back. Those stones aren't random collapse. They form a corridor, narrowing perception without narrowing movement. You could pass through without ever touching one, but You'd feel like you should. Seb feels the rhythm change again as you approach. Not pressure this time, not attention, expectation of conclusion. Marrow rides up, keeping her voice low. Old toll markers, she says, or what passed for them. No coin ever collected here, far as anyone remembers. People used to leave things. The road doesn't slow the caravan this time. It waits to see what you do. As the lead wagon enters the space between the stones, you notice something new. Each marker has a shallow depression on top, hand-sized, worn smooth, not offering bowls. Imprint stones, people pressed something into them once, not always the same thing. Whatever mattered enough to be acknowledged. No shrine, no seam, no inventory problem. Just a place where travelers used to say, I passed here and I chose to mark it. The caravan rolls forward. No one else notices yet. Seb and Isaboe, you're both close enough to act before the moment slides by. Do you mark the stones yourselves? Instruct the caravan to do so? Or pass through without engaging and see if the road accepts the omission? The ruins don't threaten. They remember your move.
Mark the stones. Everybody.
We mark the stones and have the caravan mark them as well.
Seb doesn't hesitate. Neither does Isaboe. That alone feels like the correct opening move. Seb steps to the nearest stone and presses his palm into the shallow depression. Not dramatically, not ceremonially, just contact, steady and intentional. Dust lifts. The stone is cool, then warms slightly like it recognizes pressure more than flesh. Isaboe follows suit, placing her hand on the next marker down. She doesn't copy Seb, she mirrors him. Same action, different weight. Where Seb's mark feels like jurisdiction, hers feels like presence. Acknowledgement without ownership. Then you turn back to the caravan. Isaboe's voice carries, calm and practical. Everyone, as you pass, place a hand on the stones. Just a moment. Think about being here. That's it. No superstition, no speech, no mysticism that would spook people. Marrow watches you for half a second, then nods sharply and repeats the instruction down the line. One by one, people comply. Guards, drivers, merchants, even the skeptical ones do it because the road has already taught them that resistance costs more than courtesy. Some touch the stone briefly, some linger a second too long. A few close their eyes without realizing they've done it. Nothing dramatic happens. That's the point. As the caravan moves through the corridor, the stones subtly change, not visibly, not enough that you could prove it later. But the sense of unfinished business drains out of the air. The expectation you felt earlier resolves into completion. This place didn't want payment, it wanted continuity. By the time the last wagon clears the final marker, the ruins feel like ruins again. Old stone, broken history, no longer active, no longer watching. Behind you, the road smooths. Ahead, it bends gently toward the horizon, toward whatever comes next. Marrow rides up once more, expression thoughtful. Well, she says, that's one less thing waiting for the wrong kind of traveller. The caravan presses on, quieter, steadier, carrying not just goods, but a shared understanding now. This road remembers those who meet it halfway. And somewhere behind you, a system older than ink quietly closes a ledger of its own. The next complication won't ask politely, but you've proven again that you know how to answer when the world phrases a question in stone.
I'm going to say we break here.
Okay.
All right. Let's wrap it up for tonight. This is the end of episode 2. Road accepts company. Road accepts company.
Got it. We'll bring it down clean and put a pin in it. The caravan continues east as the light begins to soften, the road finally content to behave like a road again. Wheels turn without resistance. Distance makes sense. The land stops asking questions out loud. People talk a little more easily now, not loudly, not carelessly, but with the quiet confidence of travelers who feel like they passed something important without quite knowing how. Seb walks the road with dust on his boots, an authority he didn't have yesterday. Isaboe keeps the rear, watchful as ever, but lighter now, like the world blinked first. Behind you, old systems fall silent. Ahead of you, new ones wait. The road doesn't follow. It remembers. And for now, that's enough. End of episode 2. The road accepts company. When you're ready next time, we'll pick up with what happens when the road stops testing how you travel and starts testing why.
Interesting. All right, everybody. That'll do it for tonight. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. It'd be great if you could leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel so you know when we do play again. Yeah, other than that, everybody have a good night. See you next time. Bye.
Peace.